It's story time, it's story time. Let's go take a look. We'll read a story and answer some questions. Now let's dive into our book. Hi, friends. It's Miss Andi again. And guess what? Today we're going to read a classic fairy tale called The Princess and the Pea. This version of the story was illustrated by Dubravka Kolanovic. She is the person who is the artist or drew the pictures. Our book also has some magic words. This time we have two. We have lonely and invited. So let's talk about what those magic words mean and what we might hear and how we can make our face look when we hear those magic words. All right, so lonely is a feeling. It's when you're feeling sad because you are all by yourself. See that little boy? He's sitting there holding his knees with a frown. He's feeling sad because he's all alone. So, if we hear that magic word lonely, let's make our face look sad, look lonely like this. And you might hear this sound. Okay? So you might hear that sound when you hear the magic word lonely. Our other magic word is invited. You can see in this picture, there's a man standing at his door going like this. Invited means to kindly ask someone to come or to go someplace. So he is asking them or inviting them to come into his house. Invited. So if you hear the magic word invited, you can go like this, like you're kindly asking someone to go with you. And you might hear this sound. A doorbell. You are invited to come in. Okay, friends, are we ready to start reading? Remember, we're going to listen to the story and then you're going to remember what we listened to and answer some questions. All right, here we go. The Princess and the Pea. It's a fairy tale, so can anyone remember how a fairy tale starts? It usually starts with the words, once upon a time. Once upon a time, there was a lonely prince. Did you hear that magic word? He lived in a big castle with beautiful rooms and a pretty garden. But he wasn't happy, because remember, he was lonely, because he didn't have someone special to share them with. If only I could find a lovely princess to marry, sighed the prince. The king and the queen did their best to help him. They held balls so the prince could meet princesses from all over the nearby kingdoms. A ball is like a party with dancing. The prince danced with tall princesses and small princesses. He talked to loud princesses and proud princesses. He met all kinds of princesses, but none of them were quite right. You can see he still feels what? Lonely. He still feels lonely. After a while, the king and queen ran out of princesses for their son to meet. Maybe it's time you went looking for a bride, suggested the queen. A bride is a girl that gets married. So he's going to look for a princess. So the prince packed a bag, saddled his horse, and waved goodbye to the king and queen. Good luck, said the king. Come back soon. The prince traveled far and wide and searched high and low for the princess of his dreams. I wonder if he'll find his princess. What do you think? Do you think thumbs up, yes, he will find his princess? Thumbs down, no, he won't find her. Or thumbs in the middle, I don't know. Along the way, the prince met lots of lovely princesses. Princess Grace loved to dance, but her twirling made the prince dizzy. Princess Ginger loved to cook, but her cakes made the prince chubby. Oh, he was eating too many sweets. Princess Flora loved to smell as pretty as a flower, but her perfume made the prince sneezy. Achoo! Maybe I'm just too fussy, thought the prince. But in his heart, he knew he had not met the princess of his dreams, so he headed back to his house, his castle. When he got home, the king and queen greeted the prince happily. They were so glad that he came back. I haven't found a princess yet, he sniffed sadly. I guess I never will. And remember, he was feeling what? He was feeling lonely. That's our magic word. Don't be silly, said the queen. The right girl will come along soon. She has a positive attitude, doesn't she? That night, there was a terrible storm. Thunder boomed so loudly that it rattled the castle's windows. Rattle-tattle. Lightning shook the table as the prince and parents sat down to eat their dinner. The prince was about to help himself to dinner when suddenly they all heard a loud... What did they hear? Rat-a-tat-tat. Someone was knocking on the door. Who could be visiting us on a night like this? Asked the queen. Oh, do you have a guess? I wonder who it is. Want to take a guess? The prince opened the door and found a very wet girl standing there. Raindrops ran down her muddy cloak, making a puddle at her feet. Drip, drop, drip, drop. The girl pushed back her hood. This part is the hood, see? And wild curls of hair tumbled out. Hello, she said with a smile. I got lost on my way home, and I wondered if I could stay here for the night. My name is Princess Polly. She didn't look much like a princess, but princes must always be polite. So he invited her in. Soon the princess was warm and dry. So that was our magic word. He invited her to come inside. All night long, rain fell, plippity-plop, plippity-plop, on the castle roof. But the prince hardly noticed because he was too busy talking to Princess Polly. She was pretty and funny and kind. Princess Polly was everything the prince had hoped to find in a princess. By the end of the evening, the prince had fallen in love. Oh, he really likes Princess Polly. But the queen wanted to be sure that the girl really was a princess. The queen told the servants to pile a bed high with mattresses. They heaved one on top of the other until they had no more mattresses left. Then they placed a pillow and a quilt right at the top. Underneath the mattress at the very bottom, the queen placed a teeny tiny pea. Only a real princess would be able to feel something so small as a pea through all those mattresses. When the queen showed Princess Polly to her bedroom, the girl gazed up at the tower of tall mattresses, but she didn't say anything. She was just grateful to have a bed for the evening. Good night, said Princess Polly. Sleep tight, whispered the queen. Then Princess Polly changed into her nightgown and climbed right to the top of the pile of mattresses, and she snuggled under the quilt. All right, let's make a prediction. Do you think Princess Polly will sleep soundly all night? Yes? Or do you think Princess Polly will have a hard time sleeping? So will she sleep soundly? No? Or maybe you don't know. Say, I don't know. Let's find out. The next morning, Princess Polly came down to breakfast with dark circles under her eyes. She let out a great big yawn. How did you sleep, my dear? Asked the Queen. Princess Polly burst into tears. I wonder why she's crying. I'm afraid I couldn't sleep a wink. There was something lumpy and bumpy in my bed. It kept me awake all night long. So she was crying because she was so tired. So if you said she did not sleep soundly, you were right. To Princess Polly's surprise, the Queen clapped her hands with delight. So she is a real princess, the Queen cried. The prince was so happy he was overjoyed. Will you please marry me, Princess Polly? He asked. Yes, squealed the princess, and they all lived happily ever after. The end. Were you right? Did you say that he would finally find his princess? All right. Now, that was kind of a long story, but we're going to try to remember what we read about. I have some questions for you, okay? Here's the first question. Where did the prince, king, and queen live? So I'm going to let you think by yourself, and then I'll give you a clue. So do you remember where they lived? In what place? Here's your clue. Did they live in a castle or a little cottage? If you guessed they lived in a castle, you were right. That is where the prince lived, in a giant, beautiful castle. All right. Now, my next question is, who was helping the prince find a bride or find a princess? Who? Remember, when we ask the word or a question with the word who, we're looking for a person or an animal, okay? So who helped the prince? Was it the prince's friends? Or was it the king and the queen? Who helped the prince? It was the king and the queen, his parents. They were helping him. Good job, friends. All right, let's see. Here's our next question. When the prince could not find a princess at home, what did he do? Okay. So when we say what did he do, we're looking for an action. He did something. Do you remember what he did when he could not find a princess at the castle? You want a clue? Did he stay at home and give up? Or did he get on his horse and go searching or looking for a princess? Which one? Remember, he went searching on his own for a princess. Great job. Okay, now remember, he came back home after that because he did not find a princess by himself. And then something happened. Do you remember? Someone knocked on the door. It was Princess Polly. So do you remember when Princess Polly knocked on the door? When. That word usually starts a question, so we can come up with a time something happened. All right, so when did Princess Polly knock on the door? Was it when the family was having breakfast or when they were having dinner? Was it breakfast time or dinner time when Princess Polly knocked on the door? It was dinner time. They were eating dinner. Did you get that right? And so if they were eating dinner, was it nighttime when the moon is out, or was it daytime when the sun is out? So we usually eat dinner at nighttime. And in this story, it wasn't just nighttime, it was storming outside. You can see the rain was storming. That's right. So Princess Polly knocked on the door at nighttime during a storm while they were eating dinner. And when the prince answered the door, why was Princess Polly so wet? Why was she so wet? Do you remember? Was it because she went swimming? Or was it because she got caught in a storm? Which one? That's right. She got caught in a storm. You're doing great. We are almost finished with our questions. So Princess Polly was going to stay at the castle for the night to get warm and dry. And so they had to make up a bed for her, remember? And the queen decided to put something under the mattress to see if she could feel it, to see if she was a real princess. Do you remember what thing the queen put under the mattress? Remember when we say what, we're thinking about a thing. Let me give you a clue. Did she put a pea? Put a pea under the mattress? Or a rock? Which one? Remember, it's the princess and the pea. She put a teeny tiny little green pea under the mattress. I don't think I could feel that under a stack of mattresses. How about you? So, when the queen put the pea there, where did she put the pea? Do you remember? Remember, where is a place or a location? Here's our stack of mattresses. Look at all those mattresses stacked up so tall. And here's our little tiny pea. Did the queen put the pea on the top of the mattresses? Did she put it in the middle? Or did she put it under the bottom mattress? Which one? She put it under the very bottom one, doesn't she? That's right. Good remembering. So, did Princess Polly get good sleep that night? Yes or no? Do you remember? Did Princess Polly get good sleep that night? Remember, she had dark circles under her eyes and she was yawning in the morning. So no, she did not get good sleep that night. You're right. But what about at the end of the story? Did the prince find his bride at last? Yes or no? Did the prince find his bride or his princess? Remember, it was a happy ending, so we're going to say, yes, he found her. And the last question is who? Who was the princess? Do you remember? Let me give you a clue. Was it Princess Grace, who liked to twirl around and make him dizzy? Or was it Princess Polly? You're right, it was Princess Polly. That was his new bride. And they lived happily ever after. Thank you so much, friends, for listening to the story about the Princess and the Pea and answering all those questions. Pretty smart cookies. I'll see you next time. Bye.